In today's video, we are going to explore best Bruce Lee's quotes about life, freedom, and self-improvement. Let's get started. A quick temper will make a fool of you soon enough. A teacher is never a giver of truth, he is a guide, a pointer to the truth that each student must find for himself. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. An intelligent mind is an inquiring mind. It is not satisfied with explanation, with conclusions. Nor is it a mind that believes, because belief is again another form of conclusion. Anxiety is the gap between the now and the then. So if you are in the now, you can't be anxious, because your excitement flows immediately into ongoing spontaneous activity. Are you going to let the obstacles in your life be stumbling blocks or stepping stones? Choose the positive. You are the master of your attitude. As you think, you shall become. Do not pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Do not run away, let go. Do not seek, for it will come when least expected. Don't indulge in any unnecessary, sophisticated moves. Don't be forecasting evil unless it is what you can guard against. Anxiety is good for nothing if we can't turn it into a defense. False teachers of the way of life use flowery words. Genius, the capacity to see and to express what is simple, simply. Humility forms the basis of honor, just as the low ground forms the foundation of a high elevation. I am learning to understand rather than immediately judge or to be judged. I cannot blindly follow the crowd and accept their approach. I will not allow myself to indulge in the usual manipulating game of role creation. I am learning to understand rather than immediately judge or to be judged. I am not teaching you anything. I just help you to explore yourself. I believe in teaching just a few students, as teaching requires a constant alert observation on each individual in order to establish a direct relationship. A good teacher cannot be fixed in a routine, and many are just that. During teaching, each moment requires a sensitive mind that is constantly changing and constantly adapting. I create opportunities. I did what I came here to do. What I've done with sincerity and to the best of my ability. You can't expect much more from life. I do not fear the man who practices 1,000 kicks one time each. I fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times. I don't believe in getting something for nothing. I don't know what is the meaning of death, but I am not afraid to die, and I go on, non-stop, going forward with life. Even though I, Bruce Lee, may die someday without fulfilling all of my ambitions, I will have no regrets. I did what I wanted to do, and what I've done with sincerity and to the best of my ability. You can't expect much more from life. I don't want to do anything halfway. It has to be perfect. I have always been a martial artist by choice, an actor by profession, but above all, am actualizing myself to be an artist of life. I have the absolute confidence not to be number two, but then I have enough sense to realize that there can be no number one. If you want to be immortal, live a life worth remembering. It is better to live as a broken piece of jade than to live as a useless clay. It is useless to try to stir the dirt out of the muddy water, as it will become murkier. But leave it alone, and if it should be cleared, it will become clear by itself. It's like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory. It's not the daily increase, but daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential. It's not what happens that counts. It's how you react. It's not what you give, it's the way you give it. It's the law of averages: put in more, come out with more. I've come to understand that life is best lived, not conceptualized. Learn it all, then forget it all. Life is an ever-flowing process, and somewhere on the path some unpleasant things will pop up. It might leave a scar, but then life is flowing, and like running water, when it stops it grows stale. Go bravely on, my friend, because each experience teaches us a lesson. Keep blasting, because life is such that sometimes it is nice and sometimes it is not. Life is better lived than conceptualized. This writing can be less demanding should I allow myself to indulge in the usual manipulating game of role creation. Fortunately for me, my self-knowledge has transcended that, and I've come to understand that life is best to be lived, not to be conceptualized. If you have to think, you still do not understand. Life is never stagnation. It is constant movement, unrhythmic movement, as we is constant change. Things live by moving and gain strength as they go. Life is wide, limitless. There is no border, no frontier. Life itself is your teacher, and you are in a state of constant learning. Never trouble till trouble troubles you. I'll not willingly offend, nor be easily offended. Never waste energy on worries or negative thoughts. All problems are brought into existence, drop them. Nothingness cannot be defined, the softest thing cannot be snapped. Put every great teacher in a room, and they'd agree about everything. But put their disciples in there and they'd argue about everything. Real living is living for others. Reality is apparent when one ceases to compare. Recognizing that the power of will is the supreme court over all other departments of my mind, I will exercise daily when I need the urge to act for any purpose, and I will form habits designed to bring the power of my will into action at least once daily. Remember, life is a journey, not a destination. Simplicity is the shortest distance between 2 points. Since life is an ever-evolving process, one should flow in this process and discover how to actualize and expand oneself. The biggest adversary in our life is ourselves. We are what we are, in a sense, because of the dominating thoughts we allow to gather in our head. All concepts of self-improvement, all actions and paths we take, relate solely to our abstract image of ourselves. Life is limited only by how we really see ourselves and feel about our being. A great deal of pure self-knowledge and inner understanding allows us to lay an all-important foundation for the structure of our life from which we can perceive and take the right avenues. The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. The meaning of life is that it is to be lived, and it is not to be traded and conceptualized and squeezed into a patter of systems. The more complicated and restricted the method, the less opportunity for expression of one's original sense of freedom. The most important thing to me is, how, in the process of learning how to use my body, can I come to understand myself? The primary reality is not what I think, but that I live, for those also live who do not think. The three most difficult things in life are, 1. To keep a secret. 2. To forget an injury. 3. To make good use of leisure. The word superstar is an illusion. There is no such thing as maturity. There is instead an ever-evolving process of maturing. Because when there is a maturity, there is a conclusion and a cessation. That's the end. That's when the coffin is closed. You might be deteriorating physically in the long process of aging, but your personal process of daily discovery is ongoing. You continue to learn more and more about yourself every day. Things live by moving and gain strength as they go. Those who are unaware they are walking in darkness will never seek the light. To express yourself in freedom, you must die to everything of yesterday. From the old, you derive security, from the new, you gain the flow. To know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. To live is a constant process of relating, so come on out of that shell of isolation and conclusion, and relate directly to what is being said. Bear in mind I seek neither your approval nor to influence you. So do not make up your mind as to this is this, or that is that. I will be more than satisfied if you begin to learn to investigate everything yourself from now on. To live is to express, and to express you have to create. Creation is never merely repetition. To live is to express oneself freely in creation. To realize freedom, the mind has to learn to look at life, which is a vast movement, without the bondage of time, for freedom lies beyond the field of consciousness. Care for watching, but don't stop and interpret I am free, then you're living in a memory of something that is gone before. To spend time is to pass it in a specified manner. To waste time is to expend it thoughtlessly or carelessly. We all have time to either spend or waste, and it is our decision what to do with it. But once past, it is gone forever. To take responsibility for one's own actions, good and bad, is something else. To tolerate is to insult. To understand your fear is the beginning of really seeing. While it may come as a profound surprise to those of us who are in the throes of an emotional or life crisis, the fact remains that the answer to virtually all of our problems resides within us already. It exists in the form of a vast reservoir of free-flowing energy that, when channeled to our muscles, can give us great strength, and, when channeled to our brain, can give us great insight and understanding. You cannot force the now. But can you neither condemn nor justify and yet be extraordinarily alive as you walk on? You can never invite the wind, but you must leave the window open. You will never get any more out of this life than you expect. Please let us know your favorite quotes, from these best Bruce Lee's quotes about life, freedom and self-improvement, in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.